Yeah, I'll probably have to go into more detail in what I was talking about on a field trip. I'll go into much more detail, and it'll be more progenitive. Yeah. Yeah. I always do my best things when I don't actually think about it beforehand. It just glibly comes out of my mouth, or it has a nice mouth feel to it. So that's why I always do the best. The best rants are on my field trips, basically. But the way the country is going, it's going to be a rant-filled year, I reckon. Especially when this stuff goes down in America, and Trump says to Downer, "Oi, I want you," and Julie Bishop, "Oi," and George Brandis, "Oi." Get over here, sunshine. And they'll suddenly realise that they can do nothing about it. They're going to have to go, or they're going to be, dragged kicking and screaming, because the economic crap that they've done in this country gives them no leg to stand on. The country's going to be so bad that they've got nothing to counteract it. Everyone would say, "Hang on, the country's that bad. You're going, mate. You're off. You're going up there," and before you know it, tried, done, in Gitmo, or maybe even to the gallows. I mean, we came back from WA, and you've got to use the D word over there. They are in a depression over there, and if one state is in a depression, and we got trouble with the housing market in Sydney and Melbourne, once people start losing their houses and ending up in the streets, George Brandis, Julie Bishop, and a few others, there's nothing they're going to be able to, what are they going to say? These people are just going to say, "You're on a plane, we'll pack your bags for you. You're on a plane, you're going to America, you're going to be tried and sentenced and everything else, And as I said, though, I think, Alexander Downer, I mean, what is the punishment of spying? It's always the same. Yeah, you get shot for spying, don't you? When you get caught, if you don't get caught, fine, but if you get caught spying, the punishment is death, isn't it? Usually it's a firing squad. So, that's the fate for Alexander Downer. He's going to be shot by a firing squad. You don't think it's going to happen? Just you watch. Because, as I said, the way this country is going, there's nothing they can say to actually stop them being extradited out of the country, I reckon, or from wherever little shithole they're going to try and hide out at. So, I mean, Trump will just put economic pressures on all these places where they're trying to hide out, and, you're going to have to buy a beanbag, pudding-sized bag, 100 litres of popcorn, I reckon, and tons of soda pop and everything. It's just going to be, as this year goes on, the shit's going to hit the fan, and it's going to be fun and games. It really is. I mean, it's going to make up for a lifetime of crap we've had over the years, and nothing's going to stop it, because, as I said, the way the Sydney and the Melbourne housing market is going, it's on tenterhooks, I think they call it. I always like to say tenterhooks, but Once that, when we've got the interest rate almost going to zero, wages are flat, and the bosses are now saying it's because it's the workers. This was the crap they had on the was it Q&A, or was it the drum last night? I think it was it was on Facebook or somewhere. Yesterday's crap was basically business is blaming the workers. How can you blame the workers when they got flat wages? They barely being able to exist in their houses, almost going onto the streets, and you're blaming the workers. That's almost like a let them eat cake sort of moment, which is, of course, biscuits go soft and cakes go hard, and cakes are full of sugar. So basically what you're really saying is, I want you to break a tooth, have tooth decay, and probably die. I want to give you the most unhealthiest source of nutriment possible. Something that's full of sugar, There's no fluoride in the water back then, and you're going to rot your teeth. You're going to get and more likely to get disease, and you're probably going to get diabetes as well because there's so much sugar. And yeah, yeah, interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, I think I will start another clip because I'm starting it around again. But in this country, it's getting that way. Well, I don't know. It's either marching in the streets or putting them up against the wall. Sort of, it's getting there. And once Trump pulls the trigger on all this declassification and stuff, and it all comes out, and we find out what really happened from the King John Howard years and what happened to. I think we had a little mini coup here, a soft coup. I think they got rid of Rudd. Because have you noticed that Kevin Rudd now is very cheerful now? Because I think he's got to see some of the information. He realises it's all coming out and he's going to be vindicated. And we're going to say, oh, shit. And these people got rid of our Prime Minister, and they were trying to get rid of Trump later on. They tried, basically, I think it was like a soft run. And they were testing it down here in the Antipodean waters down here, and if it worked down here, I think, oh, we can scale this up and we can try it in our own country, sort of thing. So yeah, so and it's all related to the bloody Clinton Foundation. I mean, you track the donations. I think Australia gave, was it 120 million to some bloody African scam for AIDS kits or something. I mean, that's probably just the tip of the iceberg. That's just the first major one they've discovered. But these trials are probably going to be going on for years, you know. I mean, it might be a case of putting them up against the wall and having the trial afterwards, you know, like, get rid of the people first of all, so you can't go on, and as a sort of a shock to the global system. But we will have the trials about what went on, in quotes, all the information coming out afterwards, sort of thing. You know, we'll have like 10 years of all this information coming out about what was really going on and why your life was so bloody hard, and all the nod, wink, wink, and putting you down, and all that sort of stuff that was going on in the previous years. And I think we're all going to get a benefit out of it. I mean, what are they going to do? Suddenly they're going to say, well, we're going to compensate you for this. See your bank account there? Everyone gets $1 million. Because of the crap, yeah, everyone gets $1 million in the bank account as a compensation for the crap you had to take over the last 25 or 30. I don't know how long it's been going on. I mean, do we equate it to the way flytraps were going in? I mean, I reckon the flytrap situation was going back at least you can track it back to the 70s via the liverworts. You can track it back to at least the late 70s into the early 80s. For all we know, it could be going back to the 50s. I wouldn't be surprised if you said to me when it started back in the 50s. I wouldn't be too surprised. So